Gravy, baby.
Welcome. I don't know why I yelled.
Why are you yelling?
I'm glad you don't have on headphones.
I
Even
know.
though that means, unfortunately, I'm sad DJ's not here.
I'm sad DJ's not here too.
Hey, gravy babies.
Hi, gravy biscuits, gravy bitches,
Gravy
ladles.
I made gravy last night.
Did you really? Which
Yeah.
kind? Brown gravy?
Yep, I made a pot roast.
Oh, nice.
And I had too much. I used a little bit of the package.
Mhm.
That's what I like to do. I like to make a pot roast from scratch, but then buy the package where you just dump the the cornstarch.
Yeah,
because
because all it is like beef concentrate in flour. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one was cornstarch, which I wanted
Cornstarch,
instead
yeah.
of flour. So I was like, all right, let's do that. But I only did half. And then I had the other half. I'm like, this is useless.
Yeah.
So I made gravy to be like, when this pot roast is done, if it's dry.
You used all of the buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
You used, what is it, 2 fingers of fucking gravy mix. Would you put it on everything?
I put that shit on everything. Mostly I've used it on the pot roast because the pot roast was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just added some gravy to it,
Yeah.
even more perfect.
Yeah.
And Andy was so thrilled, so pleased. She just really wanted pot roast. She bought the roast at the farmer's market like a week ago. And I was like, this bitch wants a pot roast. Because Andy likes a hearty meal.
Oh, well,
She's
dude,
a meat
who doesn't
and
love a
potatoes
stewed
gal.
meat?
Yeah.
That's like literally the most American dish. People they think about like meatloaf, but it is like a stewed meat.
Well, even barbecue is cooked the same way. It's like that slow. So like, I think you're right. Different regions do it differently, but a slab of otherwise unusable if you don't cook it this particular way, beef, that's very American. I agree.
Yeah.
And we did it up and it was delicious.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that's what's gravy, baby. It was literal gravy.
Nice. Somebody in the Discord had posted like picture of so they had gotten biscuits and gravy and stuff, and I do love it. Like our podcast is obviously not about actual gravy, but I do still love
my heart.
My biscuit of a heart is covered in gravy every time.
I'll get emotional if I start thinking about the trajectory from the fake cult to the Discord, to just all the stories. The story we've told on here numerous times of Paint Monkey. We've told it on other podcasts. Drawing the possum god and the researchers from NYU being like, what's that? And him being like, that's what we worship. We're a cult. All that. And then like there's a Discord and now they're just sharing pictures of gravy and biscuits. It genuinely... Honestly, it's been keeping me going a little bit it's been a rough couple weeks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why? What happened?
We don't have to get into the actual dark parts. We'll do the funner dark parts. So let's say on a baseline, there's a lot going on with the family.
Okay. Oh man, I don't even think I know that. I don't even know that I know. Okay.
And that's
okay.
an off mic thing. But let's just say like it's already been a hard month.
Gotcha.
For things like the type of things that are beyond your control, illnesses and just, that kind of thing, right? And then I gave my whole family COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I wasn't on the pod last week. And I had recovered enough to join via satellite, but I had to take care of them and couldn't do it.
Yeah, you definitely couldn't get everyone sick and then be like, all right, deuces. I got to go chat with my homies for an hour.
Well, I didn't want to come in here because I was like over it, but I didn't know if I was still contagious.
Well, even via satellite.
Well, I tried.
Sorry you're upset and feel like shit. So anyways, guys.
Did you guys see what Trump said? I tried to do well read. And I needed to do that because there was an ad that I had to do. Like well read got an ad for this electric bike and I have the bike.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, big W for me.
Ooh.
Lobbied for that one hard. Love it, by the way. Free ad right now for electric bikes. Surprisingly affordable.
Drop the E.
Electric. Anyway, I had to go on there to do the commercial. So I tried. I couldn't, the kid started screaming almost immediately. And he's not a crier. We have a very chill baby. Turns out.
Yeah,
with
he
COVID,
has COVID.
Yeah.
He's learning about the world and he learned about the fucking pandemic too soon.
Yeah. So not good.
But also good because now he's got antibodies and all that stuff. So he'll be less likely to get it. All that stuff.
You just got to toughen up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Easy. Libertarian. Calm it down.
This kid's had it too easy. He's literally living on the tip. fat of the land.
So
Can't even sleep on his own.
oh, little baby.
He's such a little sweet guy.
Hey, sweet little baby.
He's so cute.
So tell us, how did you infect?
Just random.
Just random? I feel like this is about to be one of those Reddit threads where it's like, am I the asshole at the end of it?
If it is, if I actually been searching it because that's Andy's favorite Reddit thread.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the am I the asshole?
Yeah, but we both been kicked off and we're not sure why. Yeah.
Are you the assholes? Like,
maybe.
Do you guys
I
comment?
went back. To me, with me, it had something to do with, they were like, you tried to join this Reddit, but we've already kicked off another one of your usernames. Well, I've only ever had 2 Reddit usernames my whole life. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what did I think I just accidentally broke a rule. I don't know. But I got that message.
I didn't even know Reddit had rules.
I got that
other
message.
than like, don't be racist or don't be a cunt.
You can have your own rules in your little community.
Oh, okay.
So we only got kicked off that community. But the same day, around the same time, I think there was some automated situation going on. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can't look. I had a bunch of wild theories. Whatever. I'm over it because I figured out a way around it. Mm-hmm. All the best Am I the Assholes end up on best of Reddit.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of in the name, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
I've been looking.
Let's find out if
asshole?
you were the asshole.
I've been looking on there to see if Andy posted anything because there's also like a lot of like, get this off my chest. There's a lot of relationship stuff on Reddit where people just like say this is what happened. It's very funny because sometimes people will describe a situation that's kind of not benign, but you're like, all right, they need therapy. I wonder what's going on with them.
Right.
And then every comment is, leave him. This is a red flag. This man you've been with, and you're like, they've been together 13 years. Mm-hmm. They had one fight, and now all of Reddit is like, don't you understand he's mentally abusing you? And I'm like, I don't think so. I think he just didn't like the pot roast.
Yeah. Right.
But then other times you get on there and you're like, oh, baby, you trapped.
Yeah.
Like I'm reading this paragraph and I'm like, get out, the house is on fire.
Right.
If Andy wrote this story of me giving them COVID without lying, but without giving all of the context, 100% everyone on Reddit would justifiably be like, why
leave
are
him.
you even with
him? You should do it and then count how many times they say to leave him.
It would be the number as long as it stayed in the algorithm. Do you understand? It's potentially infinity. How many users are on Reddit? 5 million? Or 400 or 500 million? It could potentially be that many people. Here's what happened.
Okay.
I went to Mardi Gras.
Wow.
Alone.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like first, okay.
Do you want me to give the context or do you want me to tell it the way she could write it on Reddit without lying to make me look the worst?
No, this isn't Reddit. These are our folks.
I'm talking about what order do we go in?
Oh, yeah.
Here would be the Reddit post.
Go ahead.
Here would be the title. The title, husband left me alone with 4-month-old to go to Mardi Gras.
Gave us COVID.
Gave us all COVID. Am I the asshole for being mad? And then like right there, everyone would be like, nope, I don't even need to read this.
Yeah. Why would I even read any more of it?
To be clear, Andy wasn't mad. He was a little mad.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course. Nobody wants to be sick. I get it.
Right.
And then,
and then the paragraph would be, he thinks he might have got it by kissing a stranger, which he posted to his social media and was calling her his Mardi Gras wife. I was walking from the quarter to Frenchman alone. Mm-hmm. I'll explain that in a moment. I was with friends, but I wanted to be alone.
Right.
I was texting very sweet things to my wife. I was on drugs. I was in a great place. Mm-hmm. And I really don't remember. I think I was sharing a cigarette with somebody. It was 2 sisters outside of a gay bar. And she said something like, it was something about, I think my sister's just sad because she don't have anyone to marry. I literally don't know how it came up. And I was like, I'll marry her. I'll marry your sister right now. And then she got her phone out.
Knowing that the marriage wouldn't hold because he's already married. You can't technically marry another person when you're already married. Go ahead. And then, so then you married her in the middle of the street.
The sister like read the, like, do you take my sister to be your lawfully? And I was like, yes. And then we peck kissed. And I'm 99% sure these were lesbians
Okay.
at the gay bar.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. I'm not sure if that changed anything. It feels like it does. It feels like if Andy kissed a gay man, it'd be different. If you know what I mean.
I definitely feel like it would change it for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we finished our drinks and moved on with our lives. Before she left, she's like,
Quick marriage.
she was like,
No honeymoon.
The sister, not the lady I married, not my wife, my sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
My sister-in-law is like, oh, I'm gonna post it. Do you mind if I tag you? I was like, you can tag me. And I knew what was about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on drugs, and it was like really was about. I was like, this is gonna hit really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, oh, you got a blue check. Oh, you famous, which I'm not. She's like showing her sister. She's like, and she's in on the joke. She's like, we made it.
Hilarious.
We made it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun family I've married into.
Yeah.
She posts it, tags me. I showed her how to not tag me, but
Also, you just married a black lesbian. Like, why wouldn't you? That hits. Not only does that hit, but that hits for you so much.
yes. And it got, I was like out that day and just never made it back home to change. And it got really cold. And I just had to buy warm clothes. And the
Mhm.
cheapest thing I could find was a tourist Mardi Gras hoodie.
Oh,
So in this
no.
video,
Oh
I'm
my
in
God.
a tie-dye hoodie that's purple, green, and yellow.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't look bad because it's New Orleans. Like everything's got to look a little good, but it's
Mhm.
like, I look like,
You look like you just got
honestly,
there.
I looked like a drug dealer. Because the drug dealers in the quarter dress like tourists, both to throw off the cops and to make people feel more like you can't
Mhm.
dress like a drug dealer.
Sure.
I looked like a drug dealer. I was alone.
Mhm.
I was in a great mood, and I was wearing this fucking hoodie, right?
Yeah.
So she goes to tag me, and I'm like, here, I'll show you how to make it a collaboration.
Oh, you invited her to collab?
She
well, I guess
invited
it's
me.
your wife. I guess. Well, yeah, you showed her how to do it.
Yeah. I was like, if you really want this to take off, we'll post it on mine. So I did that. And I messaged Andy. I was like, just so you know,
This is
if
about
you're
to
scrolling
happen.
on Instagram, I just got married.
Yeah.
The next day I took the cloud. I was like, what am I? It's not even, without context, none of this is funny. Without context, you're just scrolling and there's Drew
Marrying
getting
another
fake
woman.
married. It makes no
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm.
You don't know any of that. Then I went down to Frenchman, saw like 4 bands, saw like 3 Grammy winners,
Nice.
had just the greatest time. Ran into one of our friends that we've made, who's a bartender down there.
Mhm.
Sent Andy pictures with her. Went home late the next day. Did the Mardi Gras party at St. Anne's, which is my favorite Mardi Gras party, and then I came home. Wasn't sick at all until like 2 days later.
There's also an incubation period, but yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, no, I definitely got it there. I think I got it on the plane ride home
Gotcha.
because none of my friend groups got it. And my Mardi Gras wife, as far as I know, didn't get sick.
Oh, have you followed up?
No, I have not. So the Reddit would be, husband left me alone with our 4-month-old to go to Mardi Gras.
And then brought us back.
Brought us
nothing.
back COVID.
And all
then
we
the
got was
paragraph would be-
COVID.
and the paragraph would be, while he was there, he may have gotten it while kissing a random stranger who he married and was his Mardi Gras wife. And then everyone, rightfully so, in the comments would be like, well, the first one would be, he fucked her, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how Reddit works. Reddit would be like, girl,
Yeah.
he did way more than that.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
And
We
you
didn't consummate it. And that's how you know. You're allowed to marry more than one person if it's in different states. You just can't consummate it. It's a Mardi Gras law. That's
Oh.
Mardi law.
Oh, is it Mardi law?
Yeah.
I thought it would be Gras
They're
law.
on the they're on the Napoleonic system. Yeah.
So only people over 5 foot can marry more than one person.
Did you know while he was short, 5'7", that was about average back then?
I thought he was like 5'1". He was
Oh.
5'7".
That's what I heard or read once.
Oh, okay.
You know,
And
you hear something like that and you're like, well, I believe that forever without checking on it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a lot.
To be fair, that's how we all are about him being short too.
Yes.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
here's the context that even if she left it in, I'd still be getting grilled.
Sorry, now I'm just thinking about how tall was everybody else if he was short. Yummy.
Dude.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. So what happened?
I bet a short French man who like has the
Here's
complex
a
of wanting
fucked
the
up thought.
world
This
to
is-
like love him could eat pussy like crazy. I bet that dude. Can you imagine Napoleon going down on you? If he thought you like were gonna tell all your friends, because there's a selfishness sometimes to performing well in bed.
Mm-hmm, sure.
I bet Napoleon ate good pussy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, divide and conquer. What? I love a short king. That's why I never gave a shit about height.
We almost had a spit take.
Like a literal one.
Yeah. I've never given a shit about my own height. I'm with my shoes off, I'm 5'9" and 3/4 or 7/8. And I revealed that, I think, on this podcast once. And everyone was like, you can't say you're 5'10" if that's the case. And that's the only time I've cared. And I care in the sense of like, that's insane. I'm supposed to say I'm 5'9". Like, that's not, in no math is that. And I'm not going to say the whole fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that seems weird. I mean, for the longest time, because I wanted to be taller, I used to say I was 5'1.5" an inch, and I was very proud of that half an inch. Yeah. But
well, all I was gonna say is I didn't care at all about height. Yeah. Until someone told me I wasn't allowed to say I was 5'10", and then it turns out I did care. I just felt average, so it was fine. As soon as someone was like, "No, you're short," I was like, "Bullshit," you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel the need to contextualize the whole story.
Yes, for sure. So all of our listeners aren't mad at you because they love Andy as well, and you have an adorable baby.
They stay mad at me. You know what I mean? If it's not about this, it's something you and DJ
are
they
going to be mad at me and DJ? Yeah, right.
Never.
You kind of gave yourself that role. What?
How did I give myself the role?
How are you going to be mad at DJ? And then how are you going to be mad at me? You are the guy to get mad at.
Why do we have to be mad at somebody?
Because that's more fun.
All right.
That's most of all entertainment / fear mongering. Everything is like mad. Rah, rah, rah.
This is the way I'm autistic. I believe you, and I objectively observe that. I have no connection to it. I do not understand why that's entertaining.
I don't know.
Do you remember, like,
I don't watch any of that shit. Like all the reality shows that are based in you hate watching. I don't watch those.
Me either.
I don't know. There's enough hate in the world. Like I don't want to watch hate for entertainment. And listen, as much as like I say that, but if two people start arguing in a fucking restaurant, I'm on board. But for me, because I also know it's not genuine.
I like anything crazy as long as I'm not involved.
Right. But all the mob wife shit, all of that shit, like when people are like, it's just, oh, okay. No, I was raised in an argument. I don't need it for entertainment. But people who had healthy childhoods, I think, sometimes are like, wow, that's like out of this world.
I feel like I had a healthy childhood, and to me, that's why I'm like, oh, this is just bad. Like, what's entertaining? I don't find it. It doesn't matter. We're getting sidetracked.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I think I am a stand-in for so many people in my life's dad. And then a lot of people are mad at their dad, and that's why I'm the one people are mad at.
If that were the case, more people would be mad at Joe Rogan.
People are furious at Joe Rogan. Are you kidding me?
No, it's either pro Joe or anti Joe, and it's just all it is.
Anti-Joe.
Yeah, but they're not watching him.
A lot of people do. There's a lot, and they watch the clips, and then they get on the thing and they type. I cannot believe. Look at that camera and try to tell people there aren't people who hate Joe Rogan. There are people listening right now who hate Joe Rogan.
No, I think that there's people that listen to Joe Rogan, and then there's people that don't listen to Joe Rogan that hate on Joe Rogan.
There's a lot of people who follow the clips to hate Joe Rogan, but what I think the difference is there is Joe Rogan's America's stepdad.
No, he's everyone's uncle, which is why that's the problem. I know that, but that's the problem is because people are listening to him like he's a parent. You should listen to him. If you listen to him like an uncle, then you just go, shut up, Joe. Of course you're not getting the vaccine. Of course you're eating elk meat and jalapenos. Of course you fucking love an ice. Of course you believe it. All of the crazy things that Joe Rogan says are way more palatable if you think of him as an uncle and not as daddy.
It's the Bill Burr versus Chappelle thing we've talked about on here before of like Burr, to me, is still at a high level because he's acknowledging that he's an uncle. He literally goes, don't listen to me. I don't read. And Chappelle's trying to remain super relevant. Not just relevant as an old guy.
Right.
Who's like, this is crazy. Which is what Bill's doing. What's going on? But like as the guy. And it's not uncle-y. No. So I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyways.
Contextualize it.
Tell me what happened. Make you less of an asshole in this situation.
Well, I mean, first of all, I didn't mean to do any of that, you know.
What drugs were you on?
Well, that's none of your business.
Oh, okay.
I'm your uncle. I went to...
Okay, Daddy.
Uncle Daddy.
Uncle Daddy.
I think I'm going to name my little fall mini tour Uncle Daddy.
There you go.
I went to my friends who Andy and I know from the festival we did at the end of the pandemic. If people remember way back when, Andy and I both played a festival. There was a band there called Snack Time. They're out of Philly. They're awesome. They've become Eric Andre's sort of house band.
Mm-hmm.
They're opening for Portugal the Man about an hour outside of town. Me and Andy get a babysitter. We went out. We went backstage and hung out with them. We danced our faces off. We left very early. We didn't even see hardly any of Portugal the Man because she wanted her baby, which was great. It was like a perfect night. But they were on their way to New Orleans during Mardi, like the night before Mardi Gras on, was it Looney Gras? That's what they call it, Looney Gras. Looney, like the French word for Monday.
Got it.
Oh,
I thought you meant Canadian money. Go ahead. Sorry.
I thought you might think it was like Crazy Gras, like Looney Tunes.
Oh, it's nuts before it's Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
All the crazies come out the night before.
They do. So I was supposed to be in Raleigh. For those of you who bought tickets, thank you. We are rescheduling for the fall, as I was just alluding to. The club didn't have a GM for whatever reason that night. Like something happened, and they were like, "We've got to cancel your show. We'll pay for your flight still if you can't get your money back, and we'll pay you, and then we'll give you a new date." I'm like, cool, that's all fair. The reason that's relevant is I was going to fly to Raleigh, and when we were backstage, they were like, "Come to Mardi Gras." And then our buddy Funk, who is the musical director for Portugal the Man, was like, "I wasn't planning on going, but if you'll go, I'll go." I was like,
oh, now so you got social pressure. Okay.
And I'm like, "Andy, what do you think?" And she's the coolest chick in the world.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Well, you're going to leave me for 3 days instead of 2. And the flight difference was $100.
So you could go to Mardi Gras
For $100 and only
you have a place to stay and all that? Or?
Yeah. Our best friend Russell lives there, and I get to see Russell. We wouldn't want to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Go. Of course. Sure. And the show gets canceled. And I'm like, they're already going to pay for this flight, and I can't get my money back anyway. But I can change one leg of it, because for one leg, I paid the extra to be able to change it, because I thought I may not go in the first place.
Right.
It's free. Now it's a free trip to Mardi Gras, and I'll be gone 42 hours or something like that, 38 hours. What do you think? She's like, yeah, go.
So instead of you being gone for 3 days, now you'd be gone for a day and a half.
I left like late at night, was gone for that full day, and then got back the next day. So I left late Sunday night and got back Tuesday night. So I guess it was like 42 hours.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah, go. I'm like, awesome. So I went, I had a good time. One thing led to another. I got married.
Jesus. So
in the context of our marriage, Andy, she's just not that person to be like, no. Like, it was like, I don't need you for a day. If you're going to go for a week, that'd be ridiculous,
Yeah.
I don't need you. So why would I say no? And that makes her awesome. Then I got back and I started to get sick, and I could tell, and people talk about this. This is like a cliche. When you have kids, your partner just stops giving a fuck about you when you're sick. And she was still
because now she's got to protect the baby from you.
That's part of it. And then it's also just like your mindset's different.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't rude or anything like that, but I could feel it. And I was like, if I get her sick, she's going to be fucking furious. But even then, she was pretty cool. And we were boosted up. And this is good, I got the worst of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that felt a little just. I feel like I got a hanger. I don't know if my nose is itching. What does that mean? I'm lying or somebody's talking about me or something?
Yep.
So, so that's the context. Basically, that I totally had permission. It was this like kind of random event.
You didn't go on like a huge bender and were like, fuck being a dad.
There was no fuck being a dad. I did
right.
Not a huge, for Mardi Gras, no, I was very calm. But as far as like my life lately, yeah, it was a bit of a bender.
Sure. But in comparison to your benders.
And also, I didn't drink much. And it's so weird, and I'm not advocating anything for anyone, but I'm starting to like come around on the idea of, unless
just the
your
drugs.
Heart explodes, alcohol is the worst one. I don't do heroin or coke. I'm sure there are worse ones.
Sure.
But as far as what I do, it might be the hardest on a person.
I mean, it's definitely harder like in your 30s.
And,
It's going to start, and as you age, it gets worse and worse.
And partially, but you need to do a lot of it, and you do it multiple days in a row. Like, look, if you fucking took Molly 5 days in a row, you'd probably die. So I can't pretend like it's not harder on a person, but you can't take Molly. There would be no reason to.
Right.
You can go to Mardi Gras
recover.
and drink from the moment you awake till you go down for 2 or 3 days, and it'll wreck you. I didn't do that, so I wasn't. I didn't feel wrecked. Anyway, that's the context. It was an accident.
So, do you think you're the asshole?
I don't think anyone's an asshole. I think my wife is an excellent partner in person for just being the type of person who's like, do you want to do this? Then do it. Now, one thing I will add, while there, before I got sick, while having a good time, I didn't want to be there.
You didn't want to be there?
I wanted to be home.
You were having fun and you didn't want to be there?
I would have rather have been home. I missed them. I missed him. I felt probably a little guilty, but mostly I was just like, oh, this is over. Maybe once a year. This is done. What is this?
Really? You got tired of it?
Yeah.
So tired of it that you married a stranger in the middle of a street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems exhausting.
I wasn't. You're painting it like I'm not making sense. I'm not saying I was there like fuck this. I was just like, oh, I'm having fun. I'd rather be home.
Okay.
Like log that for the next time something like this comes up. You know what I mean?
Where you're like, all right.
Or bring them.
Maybe I'm not. Or bring them. Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah,
different.
maybe you could all get married.
Yeah, we could gay marry each other. Roscoe could marry a baby. A black lesbian baby.
Sure. Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make it like a team building exercise.
Yeah.
Where
like family vacation. Get pictures made.
I love it. I think you should get it painted. A family portrait painted and
We
have it over
should.
the fireplace.
We were supposed to go to a very different kind of thing in May, and we got him a unicorn outfit.
Oh.
And I got me and Andy unicorn outfits, but we can't go.
Oh, what is it?
It's a regional Burning Man thing, which I know how that sounds, but regional burns aren't at all like Burning Man. It's a lot of families and art.
Oh, that's nice.
But we can't.
So it's like Renaissance Fair, but it's in this time and everybody's got,
It's like futuristic Renaissance Fair.
There you go.
Because a lot of them do
Ooh.
like steampunk types. I didn't realize until I started hanging out with burners how much steampunk is intertwined with that culture.
Yeah. It's really
It goes in the same time period in the same area of the country.
It's a very much like what if?
It's Gen X.
Yeah, they I don't know why people always pick a Gen Z is like real into the 90s. Gen X was I guess steampunk.
It felt like sci-fi. It felt like a real sci-fi generation.
Well, yeah, I mean Star Wars, right? That's
They were babies then.
Yeah, so space seemed way cooler.
Oh man, interesting.
We had to find out space isn't real, and we're in a simulation and blah, 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 blah. It's like way less harder to buy merch once everything's a lie.
I was thinking about us today, about how we keep keeping our childhoods alive. And like, I was like, man, why? Like, why are we doing that? And then I realized like I had a different experience, and you probably did too, than a lot of millennials. A lot of millennials were raised by the first generation to be very obsessed with themselves as individuals. And so like they didn't get I
think it just depends on who's influencing you.
Right, but these generalities come about in a generation when many parents are doing similar things, right? Like I was like, why is our generation the one that's buying toys in their 40s? And it's like, oh, because many of us didn't have a fucking childhood. I did, so I didn't like connect with that. But we were the first generation in a long time, I think, where the parents were like, fuck these kids.
Well, it's just where things started to go down, because that's when both people had to work. There wasn't the opportunity for someone to stay home as easily. So then both parents had to work. So that's when you get latchkey kids who are raised by Nickelodeon and all that other shit. Like, so for instance, like both of my parents worked and they worked opposite schedules. So it was like I had single parent, but all the time, but a different parent.
Almost like a divorce.
Yeah. I lived in not they were both together still.
Right.
For like probably like 13 years of all of my real developmental parts. So it was like, yeah. So like things from my childhood are also not lies. That's the other thing too. I feel like now, because you're constantly worried about, well, is that even true? Like you have to research
Gen Z is
so much. Yeah.
It should be, I guess.
No, for sure. I mean, for sure. Especially like when you're always influenced the most by the generation just previous.
And I think that's our clash, by the way, between Gen Z and millennials. Like the real tension there is we had hope and then it was taken from us.
Yeah.
And it disgusts them that we have any belief left over that something could be good. And then we look at them and we're like, why are you so fucking nihilistic all the time? It's like, because they were born when it was crashing down on our heads.
Yeah. And we didn't lie to them about it. Whereas previous generations lied to how bad things were. You lied about it. That was a whole lie to yourself.
Had no lies to
but
tell.
That's the other thing too, is most of this is the generation that's been to the therapy most. So now it's like, we don't need to lie to ourselves. This is sad. And we're honest about it being sad. And then you tell that to a kid that's like 7, and then they're like, oh shit, it's sad. Already sad.
Yeah.
Fuck. Whereas like,
I'm not gonna, I do think as far as that goes, I will lie to my kid a little.
Yeah.
Like there's hope. Even if I don't believe it, in moments where I don't believe it, it's like, well, I'd rather say there's hope and be wrong than say there's no hope and be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can miss out on hope. Hope makes you want to do things. It's it's incredible motivator. But I do think, and I don't know if you've noticed this, there has been a big surge of comedians who are now like in their 40s.
Acting like children?
No, they've been acting like children.
Okay.
But now they want to believe in something.
Yes.
Now after being so anti everything, apathetic for atheist. I mean, I did not know a comedian that wasn't a fucking atheist. Either that or they lied about it up until now.
Yes.
Where now they're like, okay, maybe there's a God. And it's like, okay, is it because you finally had kids late? Is it because you finally maybe?
Is that?
They
have money.
They have money now.
And they know their audience likes to hear that shit. Because I know exactly who you're talking about.
There's several. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, I know.
I could even, but you know,
they kind of move together.
Yeah, they do kind of. Okay, fair enough.
I believe in God too. If I bought a fucking Lamborghini by making dick jokes and telling people Trump's not that bad. But I also think.
Don't you talk about Sam J like that?
I also think that. What was I going to say? Oh. I'm frustrated though. It's like this is what we chose to believe in our 40s. Like you were nihilistic for all the years that we had all the fucking piss and vinegar in us and we needed you. You were nowhere to be found. Now you're coming around to belief, but it's not in like the collective good. It's not in the notion of a better place for the future. It's like, nah, I think maybe faith's pretty good. And also the traditional marriage. That's what you chose? After being a nihilist, a piece of shit for all of your 20s and 30s, and then you decided, I think I actually need to believe in something. It's the ugliest thing you can believe in.
Not the ugliest, the hackiest. Because religion isn't necessarily, isn't inherently.
It's not religion that's bothering me. It's the traditional aspects of it that they're jumping in on. There's plenty of ways to like move religious in your 40s and it still be very like love, hope, the kids.
Mm-hmm.
This is very like the world's out to get us. The modern family's under attack.
What?
From the left.
We are talking about very different comedians.
No, we're not. You're not listening closely enough.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's very much like there's a reason that all of them are against trans people. I mean, the reason is it freaks them out.
Oh, see, I wasn't even talking about them. But that to me is all old. Those are just old ideals that are being regurgitated by people who don't want to think outside the box.
I guess that's sort of my point. Is like
I'm talking about even super lefties, even fucking hippies, like even they're are like maybe there is God. I don't know why. Why did I think that maybe there wasn't God?
I think we're saying the same things. We're saying it differently because what I'm trying to get at is you were this nihilistic person or libertine or whatever you were for these 15 years. And then you just, now that you decide to believe in something, it is, as you said, this regurgitated old bullshit that we know didn't work. You knew this didn't work when you were 17.
Mm-hmm. Having that said, I mean, I think it's also, polyamory seems exhausting. I think that's the other thing too. Like,
they quit polyamory?
Huh?
They quit it? Is that what you're saying? They gave up on it?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I have been wondering how, and talking about raising Roscoe, like, will he have hope? Now that he has 2 moms, he's got a Mardi Gras mom.
Oh, that's right.
And a regular mom.
Oh,
I have
yes.
been wondering.
What a progressive family you have built
I've
on
wondered
accident.
how, it's
Thank
like,
God for Molly. You can have.
I don't just, that's not her name. Her name's not Molly.
Oh. Well, do you remember her name?
I do, but I don't want to say it.
Oh, okay.
Also, I think I might be conflating her sister and her name.
Oh, wow.
But in the video, the name was said.
Okay.
Anyway.
Because a lot of times,
polyamory.
That, I mean,
you're saying
the evolution of polyamory has like come a long way too. Because like my sister was into it before it was cool or in vogue. It was like everybody thought she was fucking weird, but that was,
they still think you're fucking weird, but it's just like a little bit less.
But it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
There's way more people that are into it, and it's not just like, she was also big in the BDSM community, so it was also like it was like anything alternative was all pushed into the kink community. And I think it's becoming more like there's boring ass people who are being polyamorous now.
Oh my
not
God,
just
so many in
weirdos.
Knoxville.
But that's what
when I left Knoxville, dude, like the comedian scene was just starting to get into that. And I was like, y'all are fucking more than us? This is crazy. And they'd have their beefs online for the whole world to see.
Yeah. Because it's all ultimately when it's like that, then it becomes incestuous. And that's the part where I don't like it, where it's like, not literally, but this is the scene. We all have to see each other. You were
making a joke that polyamory's in the South is just fucking your cousin.
Oh, I mean,
it was so funny. I was trying to do a bit about that.
Because you still have
recently.
A wife. You just also fuck your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is also your wife. We're progressive in Alabama. In Arab, Alabama.
That's what poly is. But I mean, but a lot of times, and I'm not, and by any means, like, I'm not besmirching. Like, I understand it. No, I'm not. I'm saying I'm not.
You threw sapiosexuals to the wood chipper. Tell us how you really feel.
Because that's
stupid.
Because that's fucking dumb.
Polyamory, I don't believe in it, but I could see why you would.
It's not that I don't believe in it. I think a lot of times couples go to polyamory because they can't fucking end it.
And that's why you're saying.
And then I hate that because
religion.
that puts all the pressure on the third person or fourth person. It's bringing people into your shit as opposed to being like, hey, like the coolest 3-ways I've ever had were 3 single people. Anytime there was a third, when it was a couple, the dynamic was always weird. It was like, okay, I get it. I'm non-threatening. Is that why I'm here?
Right.
This is a way for you to do it without you feeling insecure.
I wish I could remember her name. I just heard a girl do a joke like that where before they got started, the guy like grabbed the wife or girlfriend by the face and was like, I love you more than anyone, or I love you just so much. Just like, we're going to do this reassuring thing before we get started. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, and they turned to me and they were like, in a very sexy way, like, what do you want us to do to you? And she was like, that.
Grab my face and tell me I'm the best, motherfucker. Yeah. That's what I want.
And I was like, oh, that's hilarious. So funny. That really is breaking down like what sacrifice the third is making, in that scenario.
But I will say, and there's a lot of times.
I didn't know we were gonna do this.
Oh, it's okay. I just get excited when you do it because you.
You're very weird.
Well, no, we only get. We're almost done, so you'll be all right. There's no way you can take it.
Oh man.
But I do think.
Dude,
a lot of times.
Like 22.
There's also a difference between polyamory and a fucking 3-way. I know that too. I'm not talking about that, but a lot of times I think people try to open it up to either hide them being a narcissist and not really wanting to be with someone, wanting to be with multiple people, or hiding that they're dissatisfied with their partner and this is their way of doing it, but they still like the company. Or, I mean, there's a myriad.
Hold up, but almost by definition, the 2 qualifications you just laid out there, I just want to be with multiple people, or I'm not satisfied with my partner. Almost by definition, that is what polyamory is. Almost by definition, those people are they're basically saying, because when you talk to those folks, not the ones who like opened up an old relationship, but who like kind of go into it, they're kind of saying, hey,
you're my best friend. I want you to be here forever, and then we're gonna fuck people.
No,
or
you're talking about
I'm gonna fuck people.
Moving to it. I'm saying if you just talk to a person who just decides they're gonna do it and they're not in a relationship, they will often say exactly what you said, but without the context of it being negative, because they don't have a partner whose heart they're breaking, and they'll say like, I'm acknowledging that I cannot be satisfied with monogamy. So it's like, you're saying it like, really, they're just not satisfied with their partner.
No, I'm saying a lot of people
in polyamory are like, yeah, that is exactly right. And that is what I said.
But that is why I opened with, I'm not disparaging polyamory, because I think that's different.
Right.
I think the context of which you go into it, but I think a lot of times people are hiding underneath the umbrella of polyamory just because they want to be shitty, or they never acknowledge that in themselves, and now they've been married 10 years, and now what? I still want to fuck chicks. What am I gonna do?
Right. Well, I think it's also they don't want to feel.
She said.
I think it's also they don't want to feel shitty. It's because it's a situation.
Yeah, you want to have sex with other people and not feel bad about it.
And not just not feel bad about it. It's also like, oh, this is going to happen. I know myself. I'm going to fuck other people.
So it's getting ahead of the fucking bad press?
Well, no, it's more like I'm not going to be monogamous. So I can openly not be monogamous, or I can cheat like my fucking dad did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that like, there's something to me respectable about that, because then you give the other person the choice. They can be like, fuck that. But yeah,
that's someone that's self-aware. Where if you're talking about a narcissist, a lot of times they're not self-aware. So they're.
Ooh, I disagree. I think narcissists are very self-aware. Most narcissists know they're narcissists. They just don't care.
It's like by definition that they don't know. They don't think that they're narcissists.
I don't think that's true.
Because they don't see themselves that way.
I don't think that's true.
Because you're thinking of comedian. I'm talking about narcissists out in the wild that aren't comedians, that aren't like literally bred to fucking analyze and overanalyze because to find the joke. So those people a lot of times are self-aware, and there's a lot of times there's a different kind of narcissist. There's a covert narcissist. So those are people who are doing it. They genuinely don't know that they're being
covert.
a narcissist.
I knew that. I knew about covert. I thought if you just say narcissist, I thought they were aware. I thought definitionally, but I'm happy to be wrong and to move on back to
they're still blaming their parents.
Yeah.
Like that's you see what I'm saying? Like, oh, my mom didn't, my dad did. Okay, but you're still you're 40
of one person who's just like that and did all this stuff we're talking about in the polyamory. It's like crazy how he thinks he's a victim and a good dude.
But that's what I'm talking about. So I think a lot of times polyamory gets a lot of shit because people with fucked up relationships, people who are in relationships that don't even want to be in them, are like trying to be like, oh, we're poly now. And it's like, okay, are you? You, or are you just bringing your drama over here to where a bunch of people want to doodle each other, but this person's my favorite person?
I think it's both. Honestly, I think people don't want to acknowledge how messy all this stuff is. I weirdly have like an affection even for the narcissists who are doing any of that sort of stuff. BDSM. I think it's because I grew up so in like a repressed like religious, but so like these are not the same communities, but the thing they all have in common, the BDSM community, kink, sex workers, polyamory, to a certain extent queer culture, is that they're like acknowledging things about their lives and trying to explore them openly rather than pushing it behind closed doors, which is what I grew up around.
Right.
And then as a kid, you're like, all right, this is how it is. This is how most people are, blah, blah. And then as you get older, you're like, wait a minute. My grandfather had 5 girlfriends, and the one he left my grandmother for wasn't special. Wasn't like this woman who wrecked our family. Actually, it was just who he happened to be with when she got Alzheimer's. He would have left her for any of the girlfriends when she had Alzheimer's because he was a huge piece of shit. It was like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
Like, I'm not saying that those people are going to save the world necessarily, but I like about those communities I mentioned that when it comes to like sex and relationships, there's sort of an acknowledgement of like, yeah, I am admitting that I am selfish, or yes, I'm admitting that I'm a pervert, or you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that they're all selfish or perverts. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying there's like a lack of, like, I'm not going to have shame about a thing I know many of us feel, and that is somewhat natural.
Yeah.
I will have shame if I treat people poorly based on that, and this is me trying not to. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying I respect that a lot.
Yeah, again, that's the self-aware part. If you're not self-aware, then
Yeah.
you're just you're fucking going around like a Godzilla wrecking cities, not realizing that that's what you're doing.
But I just think that's true in monogamy 2 times a million because there's more people doing it. There's so many people who lack self-awareness who are ruining their kids' lives because they're like, we stick it out or whatever.
Yeah, it's
or
the
they're
narcissism.
cheating on their wife because they don't believe in divorce or non-monogamy, but they also aren't going to stop fucking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think those groups are any worse than
But
the
I think that
monogamous people.
that could be, I mean, there's something that could be said there. There could be a lack of self-awareness and like, why aren't you fucking your wife? Is it because why is that not working?
Maybe he is. Fucking
So he
his
just
wife.
doesn't like fucking he likes to fuck other people besides his wife is the point of that, I guess.
I think that's the main reason men cheat. I know we've gussied it up throughout the years with therapy, but I think men cheat because they want to fuck most of the time, and somebody lets them. I think it's fun. I think they like it. I think that's what it is.
Oh,
I think
okay.
they want to hit on people.
Yeah.
I think they like flirting. I think they get excited when someone sends them a message.
Right, but with
That's
that
it.
same thing, with that same thing, why isn't if you're married to someone, why
Yeah.
can't you do those things with Andy?
Yeah, I do.
But that's what I'm saying. I think
Oh,
if
I don't
you
know
do
why
that,
it goes away for them. It just goes away for them. I don't know why.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like if you
Yeah.
do all those things, you could still get all those perks with the person that you're with.
Well, I think again we're saying the same thing. We're coming at it from different angles. I don't see the problem as monogamy or polyamory or the church or the kink community.
So
The problem
it's
is people.
narcissists, I think.
It's people. The problem is people.
People are ruining polyamory.
Well, because
As
polyamory,
a concept, it's fucking cool.
you can. You know what it is. It's so easy to abuse it when you hear about it on a surface level. When a narcissist learns about that,
Yeah.
they're like, wait a minute. There's just a group of people out there. We throw this label on. I'm allowed to do whatever it's just easily abused.
Yeah.
But so is religion.
But so are people with narcissists. I will say, that is one thing I want to thank narcissists for is
Shout out narcissists for
shout out-
sponsoring this week's podcast.
shout out big narc heavy episode is the other side of it is when somebody leaves being with a narcissist and is alone long enough to like be away from the code, because that's the other thing too is they use codependency to keep someone in the web, so to speak. But once you leave, when you're nice to that person,
Yeah.
they act like nobody's ever been nice to them again.
I missed it. It's the weed. Say it one more time.
When you're kind to someone who's
You're
been
kind of someone who was abused by a narcissist.
yeah, and I don't even necessarily mean physically. I mean like
Yeah.
just either made to feel poor of the, like
Right.
they fed into their self-hatred, whatever the dynamic was. When they finally leave and they're with a person that's nice,
Yeah.
they don't. First of all, at first they don't know how to take it. Because that was the whole thing. Is like that's like
They're both probably defensive to not. They don't want to get back in that situation.
well, it's a trap. They
Yeah.
think it's a trap. Why are you being kind to me? You don't want anything back. You don't want anything back at all. You just want you're just being kind to me because you like me. That doesn't make any sense.
I want your love and respect. That's it. And I'm being upfront about that. That's all I want back from you is your love and respect.
And then you just want
And that's not a trick.
is that what did I do? Why are you mad at me that you're trying to set me up to fucking hurt me in the future with this?
You
Everything
captured
is
my
like,
heart. That's what you did.
are you sure?
I'm pretty sure that I love you, and that what I want from you is love.
But what's great is for me is like I came out of I was raised by a narcissist, so I came out of it that way. And a lot of times, what you'll get used to that. Like that, because that's your comfort. That's what you think
That's what
is
you think
normal.
love is.
Yeah, that's what you think love is. And so then you seek that out. And if the cycle ever gets broken, if you ever find enough stones or go to enough therapy, enough mushrooms, whatever it is, to make you realize that you're worth not being miserable, and you come out and you pull your head out of that narcissistic ass's sand. Sand that is the narcissist ass is what I meant. And then
Sandy asshole narcissist.
then you have someone be kind to you and to love you like in a healthy way without manipulation, without
reciprocation.
all they want's reciprocation. It's sometimes overwhelming. Sometimes, like I mean, that's one of the things I make fun of those things on stage because they are things about myself that I make fun of.
Right.
They're things that I've learned.
You don't trust it.
Yeah. Well, of course I don't trust easy because of all that, because I've been tricked. And of course, and like I can understand, I know why my dad is. My dad doesn't trust anyone because his father, when he was a child, was like, come, I'll catch you. And then he moved his hand and my dad broke his nose. Like, I get why.
That's not a metaphor.
No, it's not a metaphor. That's a literal. Yeah, of course you don't trust easy. And because he was raised by that guy, I don't trust easy. But
you were raised by that guy too, eventually.
Exactly, eventually. But what I can do is try my hardest to not do that forever. And so then it's like, when you have someone just be nice to you because they like you, then it feels like it's okay to do it back, even though it's wrong to you.
Yeah. So
that is where I think a self-aware narcissist can be a good partner still, not be selfish, not do all of the things, not hold people emotionally hostage. Like, I think that's when, if you could come to terms with the fact that you had the upbringing that makes this kind of thing and you elicit the kind of behavior, being able to stomach that because it is a hard pill to swallow, the narcissist pill. I'm a selfish piece of shit. What? I did something nice 3 months ago for someone.
But I feel like if they're narcissists,
they often
some part of them going, who cares?
Yes.
Or is that sociopathy? Do you know what I mean? Of like,
I mean, there's varying degrees.
Do you know what I mean?
There's varying degrees. That's the other problem too, is people can elicit narcissistic tendencies.
Is it okay, yeah, you're saying yes. It's a bit of a spectrum.
Yes, Drew.
There's a guy in my life. Well, I didn't know that. I thought I did think narcissism. I knew there would be like levels of darkness to it. Mm-hmm. Some narcissists just want attention and some want to like, murder your dog or whatever. But but I did think it was like a line. Anyway, there's a guy in my life who I know from law school who's definitely a mild narcissist. Mm-hmm. And he is so fun.
Yeah.
Like to hang out with him for one night, to be brought into his world because he's extremely good looking. He's extremely intelligent. He's extremely charming. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is an on top of the world feeling to hang out with him for exactly one night. He's tall.
He's Vegas.
Yes.
I get it. The longer you stay, the sadder it gets.
Yeah. Damn.
I'm in the business of narcissism. We work with so many narcissists, and some of them are great at it. Some of them are truly great at it, especially if you know what you're walking into. It's the same thing like listening to fucking Joe Rogan. If you know what you're walking into, then you know how to digest it.
Tim Dillon.
Yes. But it's a perfect example.
When Tim Dillon's on someone else's podcast, not Rogan's, but anyone else's, not his own. Because when it's his own, he's like building this, and I'm disgusted by what he's chosen to do with his talent. Mm-hmm. But when he's just answering questions to other people who are just excited to have him there, it's fucking art.
Yeah.
It's art.
Yeah.
What the man spins. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck? But if you're not careful, you're like, man, I'd like to hang out with him again. No, I would not. I deleted his number.
That's the web. That's what you can see the webbing. It's gorgeous. So gorgeous. I would love to fly into it. I'm not gonna. I mean, I try not to, but that's the whole thing. Is like that. You can't sell. What's it called? What's the fake medicine? What do they call it?
Ivermectin?
No. I'm talking about like old. It was like
Lanolin?
Snake oil salesman. You can't sell the snake oil if you're not a good. Sorry, I know.
I'm like talking about all the brands of heroin from the 1800s. Lanolin. They made it out of the milk of the poppy. That's what you're talking about, Carmen. All the housewives were on fucking heroin when they.
Yeah, heroin or speed, one or the other.
I bet they had some pure speed.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
That was back before people were being greedy.
I don't even like speed at all, and I would try that. Although, I think I said this off mic before. I took an Adderall recently for the first time in years and liked it.
Yeah, because you got something done. I get it.
That's what it is. That's what it was. I wasn't partying on it. It's like, I'm just at home. Like, that's what this is for.
Oh.
That's funny.
I can complete tasks.
Man, we almost got to wrap up. I don't want to.
Oh, I missed you too, buddy.
Aw.
But yeah, all I mean is you can't sell snake oil without the salesman. And that's the whole thing about narcissism is when you fake like yourself enough, then you're projecting what you think people will like. And a lot of times people are right, i.e. your friend. Maybe they're incredible to hang out with. But then once you can only maintain that so much. In ADHD, they call it masking. You can only mask so much. I mean, that's part of the reason why I never want to let anybody really close is because the closer you get. Yeah. The closer you get, then
What?
Then they could see who you really are. That's a big fear.
I also don't like that, but I don't know why. What is this? Like, I know you've studied psychology and stuff, or just your opinion. Like, all right, we're afraid to let people close because you're going to see the real us. And why is that scary?
Because you're vulnerable.
They can use it against you. You're saying they could flip it on
absolutely.
you.
Well, for me, because again, I was raised by a narcissist and it was used against me. So I don't have a representation. Maybe just
shame for me.
Huh? Shame?
For me, I think it's shame. I think it's like I was taught to feel ashamed of so many parts of myself. And it's like, I just, there's like this deep inside me fear of like, if they knew the real me, then I would.
Shame is always the go-to when people don't understand something. I mean, that's why all of these things are. It's like you should be ashamed if you don't feel comfortable in your own body. Like you should be like it's always that. That's bad. That's always a shame because they don't understand it, and it's not. It's not bad, and you shouldn't feel ashamed. That's why it's like I'm pro poly. It seems exhausting.
Yeah.
Because I'm a people pleaser. So that's the other thing too. For me, doing everything for two people at the same fucking time and constantly worrying about everything that they both want, is that a problem for me? Yes, that's something that I have to work on. So it's like polyamory for me on paper seems great.
I think I could do it
because I love to jump around. I love a sampler platter. I'm on board.
I think I'd have to start with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you were never fully mine. We started here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then also I think monogamous people will point to poly relationships that end. They'll be like, yeah, they were together for like 8 years and then they broke up and it was dramatic, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, see, poly doesn't work. And I'm like, you've been miserable since you were 30. Y'all should have gotten a divorce years ago. You can't say it's not working because the relationship, that is a success. If two people say, I don't think we should do this anymore. In a weird way, that's success because it's successful in the sense of like, we're going to get out right now. We got some good years in. Now, how do poly people break up though? It's not you, it's us?
I think so. We see ourselves going in a different direction.
We just needed some time to work on us.
I'm certain all of those things have been said, truly. But I also think
as a friend.
I think the problem is ultimately feelings are so cool and intense that they fuck up our judgment. I think the reason the divorce rate is 50%, it's not that because it dropped.
I think it's 40 now.
Ooh, cute. Love it. But it's all you just don't know. You just don't know. So being forced to stay with someone forever, I think that's why more people are inclined to be like, let's get a divorce instead of trying to really, really work it out, because it's an option now. You have an ejector button. You have a way to get out. You don't have to stay. We're also afraid to be in those relationships. Like that's a big fear of mine, to be in a relationship with someone that we're miserable. I've seen it in my life so many times. So many people just stay with people that they're completely unhappy with.
And it's really just a math question too. If we break up right now, it'll take me 1 year to 3 years to get over this potentially. Like how long you been with them? 3 years to get over this.
Mm-hmm.
If we work on this for 3 years and then break up, and then it takes me 3 years to get over it and get back into the saddle, and that's 6 years of my life wasted. I think that's how a lot of people think of it.
Well, yeah, I think at the end of the day, the more the more nihilism and the more, that's why I was like, that was the other thing too, is whatever, that'll take too long. But the reason, the more nihilistic you get, the more atheist you get. If this is the end, baby, time actually matters.
Yeah. I think even people with faith process that are starting to more and more.
Well, I mean, the more Christian people are getting divorced now than ever. Like,
they're also like trying to live forever.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Yeah, that's weird.
To have heaven waiting on you and be like, I'll stay here for 100 more years.
Mm-hmm.
All this genocide and war I like it. All right. Nobody isolate that clip. That was a character piece. Thank you guys for listening.
We adore you. One week we'll have one with the three of us. DJ's just weathering some storms, so unfortunately couldn't be with us today, but we miss him.
When we get him back, I'm going to hold you by the face.
Yeah.
Tell you I love you and you're the greatest podcast partner of all time. And then we'll just turn and look at DJ and be like, what do you want to talk about? And he won't
What's
get
gravy
it.
for you?
He'll love it. He'll be like, oh, that was really sweet, guys. Thanks, everybody.
We love you. Join the Patreon if you can. Patreon.com/gravybabypod. Subscribe. Share our clippies.
Denver.
Join the Discord. Oh yeah, go plug.
Denver, March 16th, 15th and 16th, 16th and 17th, whatever that weekend is. I'm at the Denver Comedy Lounge. Just type in Denver Comedy Lounge, go to the dates of the weekend, and I'll be there at all shows, headlining all the shows.
Nice.
And that's all. I got like Nashville I'm about to announce in June and Bristol, and then I'm not really doing anything till the fall. Go ahead.
Ooh, exciting. I'm doing a big cannabis tour all of April, and it'll be California, it'll be Seattle, it'll be Oregon, it'll be Fort Collins, Denver.
Where are you going to be 420?
Oh, dude, I don't even know.
Oh, dude, I'm going to try to fly out. All right, probably not. All right, we should go. We got people here.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Bye.
You could stick a whole ribeye in one of your back pockets. Like,